IELTS Speaking Part 1. Health. Question 1. How do you keep healthy? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I usually go for a run in the park near my house. I also try to eat a healthy Japanese diet with lots of fish and vegetables. It really helps me stay fit. Band 7 answer. To be honest, I mostly keep in shape by going for a quick jog in my local park. On top of that, sticking to a traditional Japanese diet full of fresh fish really does the trick for me. Band 8 answer. Well, to be perfectly honest, my go-to routine for staying in shape is squeezing in a quick jog around the neighborhood. On top of that, sticking religiously to a traditional Japanese diet, which is heavy on fresh seafood and veggies, really does wonders for my overall well-being. Question 2. What is your favorite type of exercise? Model answer. Band 6 answer. I really like riding my bicycle. In Japan, many people ride bikes to the train station every morning. It is a good way to get some exercise before work. Band 7 answer. My absolute favorite has to be cycling. Here in Japan, biking to the local train station is super common, and it's a fantastic way to squeeze in a workout before heading to the office. Band 8 answer. Without a doubt, my absolute favorite is cycling. Over here in Japan, biking to the local transit hub is pretty much the norm, and honestly, it's a brilliant way to kill two birds with one stone by getting a solid workout in during the daily commute. Question 3. Do you think people in your country are generally healthy? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Yes, I think Japanese people are very healthy and live a long time. However, many people work too much and get very stressed. Band 7 answer. Generally speaking, I'd say Japanese people are incredibly healthy, which explains our high life expectancy. Having said that, the intense work culture often leaves folks feeling completely stressed out and exhausted. Band 8 answer. By and large, I'd say the Japanese population is remarkably healthy, which definitely accounts for our famously high life expectancy. Having said that, the notoriously intense corporate culture often leaves folks completely burned out and running on fumes by the weekend. Question 4. Do you have any unhealthy habits? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Yes, I sometimes eat snacks late at night. When I work late, I like to buy instant noodles from the convenience store. I know it is bad, but I really like it. Band 7 answer. I have to admit, my biggest bad habit is late night snacking. Whenever I'm working late, I tend to grab some instant ramen from the convenience store, even though I know I shouldn't. Band 8 answer. I have to confess, my ultimate guilty pleasure is late night snacking. Whenever I'm burning the midnight oil, I almost always cave in and grab some instant ramen from the local convenience store, even though I know it's absolutely terrible for my waistline. IELTS Speaking Part 2. A healthy activity. Describe a healthy activity you enjoy doing. You should say what the activity is, where and when you do it, who you do it with, and explain why you think it is healthy. You have 1 minute to prepare. You have 2 minutes to talk. Model answer. Band 6 answer. Well, I want to talk about hiking. It is my favorite healthy activity. I usually go to Mount Takao, which is a beautiful mountain near Tokyo, Japan. I try to go there once a month on weekends. I often go with my friends from work. We take the train early in the morning and climb for about 2 hours. It is hard work, but when we reach the top, we eat lunch together and look at the beautiful view. It is much more fun than exercising in a gym. I think this activity is very healthy for 2 reasons. First, walking up the mountain is good for my body and makes my legs strong. Second, breathing the fresh air helps me relax and forget about my busy job. I always feel great after a good hike. Band 7 answer. Let me think. Right, I'd like to talk about hiking, which is my absolute favorite way to stay healthy. I usually head to Mount Takao, a beautiful mountain just outside of Tokyo. I try to squeeze in a hike at least once a month. I typically go with a few close friends or colleagues. We make it a point to catch an early train to avoid the crowds. The climb itself takes about 2 hours, and while it can be pretty exhausting, the stunning view from the summit makes it all worthwhile. First of all, it's an incredible physical workout. Trekking up those steep trails really gets your heart pumping and builds up your leg muscles. To be honest, it's much more engaging than just running on a treadmill indoors. Furthermore, it works wonders for my mental health. Escaping the busy city and breathing in the fresh mountain air helps me clear my head. At the end of the day, it's the perfect way to burn off the stress from a long work week. Band 8 answer. Well, off the top of my head, the healthy activity I'd love to describe is hiking. My absolute go-to spot is Mount Takao, a gorgeous nature reserve just a stone's throw away from central Tokyo. I make it a point to hit the trails there at least once a month. I generally tag along with a small group of close friends. We always aim to catch the first train out to beat the weekend rush. The ascent takes a solid 2 hours of grueling work, but reaching the summit and taking in that breathtaking panoramic view is incredibly rewarding. First and foremost, it's a phenomenal full-body workout. Navigating those steep, uneven dirt paths really gets your heart rate up and works your leg muscles to the bone. Frankly speaking, I find it infinitely more engaging than just mindlessly logging miles on a gym treadmill. More importantly, though, it does absolute wonders for my mental well-being. Stepping away from the daily grind and totally immersing myself in nature is the ultimate stress buster. It completely clears my head, and I always return to the city feeling totally recharged and ready to tackle the week ahead. IELTS Speaking Part 3. A healthy activity. Question 1. Why is it important for children to play sports? Model answer. Band 6 answer. First of all, playing sports makes children strong and healthy. For example, running outside is much better than just playing video games at home. Furthermore, they can learn how to make friends and work in a team. Band 7 answer. Let me think. First and foremost, engaging in sports is crucial for a child's physical development. Instead of being glued to screens all day, they get to build strong bones and muscles. Not only that, but team sports also teach them valuable social skills, like cooperation and leadership. Band 8 answer. Well, off the top of my head, the physical benefits are absolutely undeniable. First and foremost, it gets kids off the couch and helps them build a solid foundation for lifelong fitness. But beyond just breaking a sweat, team sports are a fantastic training ground for essential soft skills. For instance, they learn how to navigate team dynamics and bounce back from setbacks. Question 2. How can companies encourage their employees to stay healthy? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Well, companies can give employees free gym memberships. For instance, if the gym is free, more people will go after work. Secondly, they should not make people work too late so they have time to rest. Band 7 answer. To be honest, employers have a huge role to play here. First of all, they could subsidize gym memberships or offer free annual health checkups. Furthermore, they really need to cut down on unpaid overtime. If people aren't stuck at the office all night, they'll actually have the time and energy to exercise. Band 8 answer. That's a great question. First and foremost, offering tangible perks like subsidized gym memberships can be a massive incentive. However, the real game changer is cultivating a healthy work-life balance. If management actively discourages burning the midnight oil and respects personal boundaries, employees will naturally have the bandwidth to prioritize their own well-being. Question 3. Should the government restrict the sale of unhealthy foods? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Yes, I think the government should do something. For example, they can make fast food more expensive by adding a tax. On the other hand, people should also learn how to choose healthy food for themselves. Band 7 answer. Well, I believe the government should definitely step in to some extent. For instance, putting a heavy sugar tax on junk food is a proven way to reduce consumption. Nonetheless, it shouldn't just be about banning things. The government must also educate the public so they can make informed dietary choices. Band 8 answer. Well, it's a bit of a balancing act. On the one hand, implementing measures like a sugar tax on heavily processed foods can effectively deter people from making poor dietary choices. Nonetheless, outright bans often backfire. Therefore, the government's primary focus should really be on launching robust public awareness campaigns, empowering citizens to take their health into their own hands. Question 4. How has technology affected our health? Model answer. Band 6 answer. Technology has good and bad points. On one hand, we have smartwatches that tell us to walk more. On the other hand, many people just sit in front of computers all day, which is very bad for their eyes and backs. Band 7 answer. Honestly, it's a double-edged sword. On the plus side, fitness trackers and health apps really motivate people to stay active. However, the downside is that our modern lifestyle has become incredibly sedentary. For example, staring at screens for hours on end is definitely taking a toll on our posture and eyesight. Band 8 answer. I'd definitely say it's a double-edged sword. On the bright side, wearable tech like smartwatches has gamified fitness, making it incredibly easy to track your daily steps. On the flip side, however, technology has engineered a dangerously sedentary lifestyle. We spend the lion's share of our day hunched over screens, which is undeniably wreaking havoc on our posture and overall physical health.
Congrats on making it to the end of this video, and kudos to you if you did all that practice. You are amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and you can also add my official LINE account that's in the profile. And if you do this, then I can send you a free phrases guide that you can use for your practice. All right, happy studying. See ya.